The headlines. Federal government labor union approves 70,000 naira minimum wage for Nigerian workers. Kaduna government denies involvement in brutalization of APC chieftain Dambiliki Kawamandap, orders probe. Federal government sets 18 as minimum age for 2024 tertiary administration, has JAMB set 140 cutoff mark. And on a foreign scene, Kenya's government appeal for protests to stop, but court suspends ban. Hello, welcome to News Updates on Trust TV. I'm Lilian Ogazi. The federal government and organized labor have agreed to a minimum wage of 70,000 naira after a meeting with President Bola Tinubu at State House Abuja on Thursday. Minister of Information Mohammed Idris and Minister of State for Labor Nkiruka Onyeji-Ocha relayed this development to newsmen. The new wage structure was accepted by Labour because of the provision that salary structure would now be reviewed every 3 years. Accepting the new minimum wage with mixed feeling, NLC President Joe Ajaero said the Labour would now take the President's proposal back to its constituent to get their buy-in. President General of the TUC, Festus Osifo, said the provision that the complaints of the Senior Staff Associate of Nigerian University, SANU, and Non-Academic Staff Union, NASU, was part of the decisions that swayed the Labour. Meanwhile, members of the House of Representatives have agreed to cut their salaries by 50% for 6 months to support the efforts by the federal government to address the economic hardship and hunger Nigerians are going through at the moment. This followed the adoption of an amendment to a motions prayer moved by the Deputy Speaker of the House, Benjamin Kalu, on the need for lawmakers to sacrifice 50% of their 600,000 naira monthly salaries to support Nigerians in view of the hardship in the land. Kalu's amended prayer was to a motion by Rep. Ishaka Ayokunle, calling on proponents of the planned nationwide protest to jettison the idea and engage the government in dialogue. The Deputy Speaker said the salary cut is to be used to support federal government's effort to address rising cost of foodstuffs in the country with the view to ameliorating the hardship Nigerians are going through. By slashing their salaries by 50%, the 360 lawmakers will be sacrificing 108 million naira monthly for the next 6 months. The motion was adopted and referred to the Committees on Humanitarian Affairs, Finance and Budget for compliance. Kaduna State government has denied any involvement in the dehumanization of a popular political commentator and All Progressive Congress chieftain, Abdul Majid Dambiliki, who was seen being whipped by unidentified persons in a viral video for allegedly criticizing Governor Ubasani. In the video, those who assaulted him were heard asking him if he was from Kaduna and why he was criticizing the governor. He was heard in the video explaining that he is a Nigerian and a Northerner. However, in the statement issued on Thursday by Governor Ubasani's Chief Press Secretary Mohammed Lawal Shehu, the administration distanced itself from the action. According to the statements, the governor is a long-standing fighter for fundamental rights and freedoms, adding that he has never wavered in his commitment to the promotion and protection of civil rights, rule of law, and due process. It noted that the governor will not, under any circumstances, detail anyone to brutalize a person for holding a contrary opinion. Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Maman, has waived the 18 years benchmark for admission into tertiary institution. At an ongoing policy meeting organized by the Joint Admission Matriculations Board in Abuja, Maman had announced that only applicants who were 18 years and above were eligible for admission. This had sparked a controversy as stakeholders across tertiary institutions in the country kicked against what the minister said. The minister later accepted the suggestions of the stakeholders that admission seekers from 16 years and above should be eligible for this year's admission, while the law would apply from next year. Maman also said a new curriculum would be introduced for secondary schools nationwide by September 2024. The minister noted that the exercise has been on for the past year, adding that a stakeholders meeting will be held on August 6, 2024 to that event. Recently, the National Senior Secondary School Education Commission decried the deplorable state of senior secondary schools in the country and called for collaboration to overcome some of the challenges bedeviling the senior secondary level education in the country. The Commission listed some challenges confronting the sector to include infrastructural deficits, unqualified teachers, obsolete curriculum, and deplorable libraries and laboratories. Meanwhile, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has pegged 140 as a cutoff mark for admission into universities. The board also fixed 100 as a minimum cutoff mark for admissions into polytechnics and colleges of education. JAMB Registrar Ishaq Oloyede announced this on Thursday in Abuja at the 2024 policy meeting of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board. The meeting had in attendance the Minister of Education, Tahir Maman, Vice Chancellors, rectors and registers of higher institutions, and other stakeholders. Residents of Abuja walled communities have decried the lack of basic amenities in their areas. Speaking with Trust TV's Noel Sampson, who visited the communities, some of the residents said lack of access to potable water, health centers and access to roads, among others, have made life difficult for them. Let's take a look at the report.
During the tenure of former FCT Minister Bala Mohammed, settlements along the airport road were fenced to promote aesthetics. However, years down the line, some of these communities are now being threatened by developers who claim to have rights to build on the lands. A visit to Pue community, one of the walled settlements along the airport road in the Federal Capital Territory, revealed that developers have recently been laying claim to some parts of the community or the grounds that they have been allocated to them. This has, however, not gone down well with Dagachi of Pue community, Tanko Bahago, who speaks on some of the challenges the community is facing.
And light, sometimes we should do the light. The transformer, we need more transformer. The problem is that sometimes people brought allocation papers, they say they are from government, they allocate the land to them, this and that. So we are the indigent of this place, we don't have any other place to go. My appeal is that they should come and integrate the village and let the people that brought the letter of allocation, they should locate the land to them and another place.
Challenges of several persons coming to claim, allocations in some of our houses. Even I can see, even today, some persons came and they took me somewhere. I discover there are houses, more than 30 houses, and he claimed it's his plot of land. In fact, the entire Pue community is upon people's allocation.
Residents of the community, numbering over 5,000, have access to only one health center. There's also a clear lack of other basic facilities that are needed for daily survival.
We have a number of challenges in this community, ranging from the bad road, like while you were coming in, I'm sure you could see the bad condition of our road. Our health center, we have a primary health center which comprises of just about 2 or 3 rooms, and with this kind of community that will have more than 10,000, 20,000 persons, you can imagine. And so we need upgrading and improvement of our health center. If possible, provide us with the necessary amenities or materials in the clinic so that some persons can be attended to, most especially when we have issues of labor at night.
With encroachment from estate developers, as well as the daily fear of demolition from the FCDA, life here is one that is not guaranteed, as they live just one day at a time. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now moving on. The Senate has commenced moves to amend the Constitution to allow for establishment of the Local Government Independent Electoral Commission. This is subsequent to the first reading of the bill on the floor of the Senate on Thursday's plenary. The bill, sponsored by the Senator representing Niger East, Musa Sani, seeks to establish an independent body to conduct elections at the local government level. Recall that the Supreme Court last week delivered separating the local governments from the state, thereby making them entirely independent. The House of Representatives Committee on Federal Character has summoned the Director General, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency (NIMASA), Dayo Muberoluwa, over his failure to appear before the committee for an investigative hearing after being duly invited. The chairman of the committee, Idris Wase, who expressed displeasure over the DG's absence at the hearing, rejected Muberola's representative. Muberola had sent the Director of Administration and Human Resources, Osembe Osiche, to represent him before the committee. Wase said the DG had not shown regard for the committee and demanded that the DG must appear in person before the committee on the 30th of July 2024. In his response, Osiche pleaded with the committee to accept his representation as the DG was away for another national assignment. He promised that the DG will appear in person on the next adjourned date.
We are aware very well that the chief executive have not stayed so much long there in their own agency. But we regret to let you know that we're stepping the appearance as of today down, and then we shall communicate also the next date for his appearance, and we're expecting to appear personally.
The option would have been it, but I'm sure in the civil service, if we knew this would also be accepted, it's a new lesson for us. We will take it home so that the effect maybe you have communicated we should be quite easier.
Divorce, childbearing out of wedlock, and death are the causes of single parenting. The number of young ladies carrying kids out of wedlock in Benue State is becoming alarming. Jimmy Azande tells us more.
Single parenting is not new, but the rising cases is becoming a source of worry for residents of Benue State who are calling for proper measures to control the menace. They say single parenting comes with enormous challenges.
Experience, because number one reason why we have more single mothers, or let's say single parents today, is the fact that our youth, or let's say the today generation, don't understand the difference between love and relationship. They fall in love for wrong reasons and end up as couples. So when they finally discover what they really want from their partners, they discover it's different from what they are experiencing. And this issue brings about misunderstanding that leads to separation.
Well, this idea of single parenting, of course, I was not raised by single parents, but I think from the experience I got, being raised by my parents, that's my mom and my dad, I think it's just the best way a child should be brought up, by both parents. Yeah, because I'll first of all start by saying that a man and a woman, they are different people entirely. We all know that women are more emotional. So even when it comes to raising up children, a woman is most times careful. That's why we have most children in the society that they are more close to their mothers.
While some residents are of the view that this has come to stay, they argue that the government and traditional institutions can do more to reduce the cases.
Not encouraging single parenting, because sometimes it happens naturally. By happening naturally, it means death, which is an inevitable occurrence in somebody's life, can come and take one of the parents away. So I would not in any way encourage that. But if peradventure you have a single parent, the single parents should, if they have the capacities to train the child well, they will do, and it helps the child.
Some analysts say the rise in the cases of single parenting and the lack of proper care are responsible for high rate of out-of-school children across the country. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Now moving on, Governor Umar Nabadi of Jigawa State has officially launched a significant tree planting campaign aimed at combating climate change and desertification. The exercise, which targeted the desert-prone Andaza community of Kiyawa local government area, is part of a broader effort to build environmental resilience and protect the natural ecosystem and biodiversity. The report.
Governor Namadi at the flag-off exercise emphasized the critical importance of addressing the adverse effects of climate change, which include flash flooding, desertification, soil erosion, and irregular rainfall patterns. These challenges pose significant threats to the survival of biodiversity, including human life. The current campaign is the first under Governor Namadi's administration and introduces a novel approach by partnering with environmentally focused organizations to ensure its success. The effort includes the distribution of 5.5 million tree seedlings across the state, with 5,000 seedlings already planted in the Andaza community alone. The seedlings include various economic trees such as mango, cashew, orange, and guava, which not only contribute to environmental protection but also generate income for local communities.
As part of our effort to safeguard the environment, we have in the last 1 year constructed 20 kilometers of drainages and reclaimed over 72 kilometers of eroded areas in several affected villages and towns across the 27 local government areas of Jigawa State. Most of these have been completed and a few are nearing completion. In areas of flood mitigation, we have desilted over 72 kilometers along Hadeja River Canal from Gagia in Guri local government area to Achakal in Yobe State. This is in addition to the construction of embankment of about 300 kilometers along the same canal. One of the commitments I made to the people of Jigawa State during my inauguration as governor of Jigawa State was to reinvigorate and expand ongoing programs, including the production of 2.5 million trees seedling annually for distribution to the citizens, public sensitization of trees planting, deforestation, and the general environmental protection.
This initiative is part of a continued effort in Jigawa State where millions of tree seedlings are planted annually. Although survival rates have historically been low, the administration's new strategy aims to improve these outcomes and secure a sustainable future for the next generation.
Now in business, the Central Bank of Nigeria on Thursday sold dollars to eligible bureau de change operators at the rate of 1,450 naira to a dollar. The acting director, Trade and Exchange Department of the CBN, A.A. Mahadi, disclosed this in a statement on Thursday. This comes days after the Apex Bank sold $123 million to authorized dealers. The Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria claimed that they were excluded in that tranche of forex sales. The president of the APCON, Aminu Gwadebe, in an interview said only banks got the forex intervention. In the latest move, the CBN said it has approved the sales of forex to eligible bureau de change to meet demand for invisible transactions. The sum of $20,000 is to be sold to each BDC at the rate of 1,450 naira, representing the lower band of the trading rate at NAFEM in the previous day trading. It warned that BDCs to sell to eligible end users at a margin not more than 1.5% above the purchase rate from the CBN. And now to the foreign scene. Kenya's government on Thursday ramped up its appeal for weeks of protests to stop, while police tried to ban demonstrations in the heart of the capital, Nairobi, only to be overruled in court. Police introduced the ban, saying the protests, which have claimed the lives of at least 50 people since erupting nearly a month ago, had been infiltrated by criminal gangs. But a court on Thursday suspended the ban while a case challenging it was heard. The youth-led protests across Kenya against proposed tax hike have continued even after President William Ruto withdrew the legislation and fired almost all of his cabinet. Activists say they want Ruto to resign and are calling for reforms to clean up corruption and address poor governance. The country has lost approximately 6 billion Kenyan shilling as a result of the demonstrations, and government spokesperson Isaac Mora said without explaining how he arrived at that figure. And in sport, Nigeria's Super Eagles will depart the country for Nouakchott on Friday for the first leg of the 2024 Beach Soccer African Cup of Nations qualifying match against Mauritania. The encounter will hold in Nouakchott on Saturday. It will be the Super Sand Eagles' first international match in 5 years. The Nigerian Football Federation recently appointed Abdullahi Issa as head coach of the team. Experienced players Victor Tale and Emeka Ogbonna are among the playing body, which also includes Arome Issa, Adams Taiwo, Emmanuel Owefera, Godwin Tale, Egan Osi Ekujimi, Chidozie Frank, and Hassan Abdullahi. The return leg is scheduled for Saturday, 27th July in Nigeria. With that, we've come to the end of news updates here on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all our social media platforms for more news programs and documentaries. Thanks for watching. I am Lilian Ogazi.